Welcome back to another video. Thank you for all the positive responses that you have been showing us. Today we will be discussing a topic on how to write an effective introduction for essays. We have Elsa here. Let's begin by asking her what are the do's and don'ts on writing a good introduction. So hi Elsa.
Hello.
So can we start by discussing about introduction of an essay?
Okay, sure. So for an IELTS introduction, you need to be very brief and concise depending on the topic. You don't need to drag around and you have to make sure that you don't deviate from the topic. So
in comparison with the essay introductions that we write in schools, we used to write, how different is IELTS introduction, essay introductions are?
So there is a limited number of sentences that you can use for the essay introduction. So usually I think even in schools and colleges they sort of expect you to write an essay with a word count of anywhere between 500 to 1000, but here since they're only asking you for a 250 word essay as the minimum word count, usually for IELTS essay introductions, you will need anywhere between 3 to 4 sentences. Sometimes if you can convey the topic within 2 sentences, that would also be fine. But make sure that you avoid using a single sentence for a topic introduction, or in fact any of the body paragraphs, right? Like make sure that you don't have any single sentence paragraphs, but you can have anywhere between 2 to 4 sentences for
so ideally let's say 3 sentences?
3 sentences
would be fine. Can you just explain in detail what are the 3 sentences?
So ideally you will need a general statement. You will need to paraphrase the question, that is restate the question with synonyms or just basically explain it in a different way. And then you will have to come around to your thesis, that is what you're planning to achieve with the essay, right? Whether you agree with the essay, whether you disagree with the essay.
Whatever they are going to discuss in the essay in detail, or whichever side that they are going to take whether they are going to agree or disagree, that should be stated in the third sentence.
Yes,
that is thesis.
that is the thesis sentence. Alright, so these are the 3 basic sentences that you will need. Although I know a lot of students who waste a lot of time, they spend a lot of time thinking about how to come up with a general statement, and that need not be the case because general statements are not mandatory, because we advise students to write a general statement only because we want them to reach that minimum word limit of 250 words. So just to make sure that they have enough sentences, that's why we encourage them to write a general statement. But yeah, if you're running out of time and if you cannot come up with one, it's completely okay.
So the conclusion here is either you can write an introduction with 3 sentences, that is general statement, paraphrase the question and the thesis, or if in case you are not familiar with the topic or you not get an appropriate general statement to write, you can directly paraphrase the question and then write the thesis. Both are fine. So in today's video, we will be discussing a few sample questions along with the introduction that Elsa will be helping us to write it, and also in the end of the video, she'll be giving us a few tips on what to do and what to avoid when you write an introduction for the essay question. So let's begin with the first question. We'll be displaying the first question on the screen. Take some time and try to figure out the question and the topic, identify the topic and try to write an introduction for the question. Here is the question for you.
Many argue that schools are no longer necessary because children can learn so much from the internet and be educated at home. Do you agree or disagree? Now we look at 2 examples. One would be that of a relatively bad essay introduction, and the other one would be a better introduction that a student can use for their own essays, right? So we'll just see a sample of a good introduction and a bad introduction and compare it side by side.
So first we'll be displaying the bad one or the good one?
The bad one.
Alright, so here you go. You can see the bad introduction on the screen. Just go through it once, and if you can identify what things went wrong, it would be good. After that, Elsa will be analyzing the introduction and telling us what should be avoided in that particular introduction.
So we'll look at the first sentence. Here they've written, teaching children at home is a hotly debated topic nowadays. Now, using the phrase hotly debated topic isn't relevant to the question or to the topic that is homeschooling or teaching children at home.
I think it's like more of a memorized set of words.
Yes.
And it's overgeneralized.
Yes.
Not specific to the topic also. So I think that this can be avoided.
Avoided.
Okay.
So here, rather than using hotly debated topic, nowadays you can talk something more specific to homeschooling. That is, homeschooling is maybe like homeschooling is on the rise, or more and more students are leaning towards or leaning to homeschooling methods and practices, anything of that sort, rather than just generalizing or using a vague statement as hotly debated topic nowadays.
Okay. Other than this, I think this is another word that commonly used by students is it's a controversial topic. That can also be avoided. It's again generalizing or not related to the question.
Because definitely homeschooling isn't a controversial issue.
Topic. There are many other problems that we have. All right, let's move on to the second sentence.
Well, again, here if you look at the second sentence, it's written a plethora of people. So that is an unnecessary word that's inserted. Plethora, you don't have to use a plethora there. You can simply use something as many people believe or many believe that, and so on. So here they've attempted to sort of
insert words that they have by hearted and
again,
making it inappropriate.
So a reminder, it is completely okay to use everyday language. You don't have to use big words or flowery words, fancy words, just to make your introduction or your entire essay look better.
Okay, let's come to the third sentence. This is called as a thesis.
Yeah. Okay, again moving on to the third sentence. This essay will discuss. So you do not have to restate that you are going to do this, because that is what is expected out of you. Rather, you can just move on to the point of whether you agree or whether you disagree to the topic. And again, they've also written before coming to a recent conclusion. So we are no one to judge whether our conclusion is reasonable or not. It is up to the examiner. So again, that is something that you can avoid stating.
Rather than saying all this, they can just give a hint on why they agree or why they disagree to this particular topic. That would be better. This becomes a memorized statement. This essay will discuss. The entire sentence becomes a memorized. So other than that, come up with your own ideas that whatever you're going to discuss in the body paragraphs, use it in 1 or 2 words and write the thesis. So I hope this bad introduction idea is clear to you. Now we will be displaying a good introduction which can be replaced by this one. So Elsa, again, what are the types of sentences and how can we analyze this introduction?
So here for the topic, for the introduction of the essay, they've only given 2 sentences. And like we mentioned before, it's completely okay to use only 2 sentences, but make sure that you don't use a single sentence introduction. That is something that should be avoided. All right. So again, instead of saying a plethora of people, they have simply stated many people believe that, and that
simple and common usage.
Exactly,
that can be.
And that is completely fine. Is preferable to traditional education.
And again, they have used the word homeschooling here.
Exactly.
That is related to the topic.
Exactly. So even if it is not mentioned in the question, it should also be up to us to understand what is the topic of the essay, and then restate that in the introduction, right? Because here they haven't mentioned the word homeschooling, but from the question it's evident that it is talking about homeschooling, right? Because again, educated at home and from the internet. So it should be up to the student or the candidate to sort of analyze the question and understand what the topic is, even though it is not directly stated.
So instead of writing internet, they have mentioned online.
Online.
That's how they paraphrase it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so we are done with the first sentence. Let's move on to the second sentence, that is a thesis.
Again, here they've come directly to whether they've agreed or whether they've disagreed, right? So here it says, I do not agree with this because students require face-to-face guidance and many web-based schools are not reliable.
I think this is what we were trying to say. In the introduction, in the thesis, they are clearly stating what are the two reasons why this particular candidate is disagreeing to this statement. First one is face-to-face guidance is lacking. Second one is the point that they have mentioned is not reliable.
So you can easily expand on both these points for your body paragraphs, right? So you can have two body paragraphs based on this, right? Okay, they require face-to-face guidance. Why? What? That entire paragraph could be about that, and your second paragraph could be about the web-based schools not being reliable.
All right. By this, we have come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching us. Please subscribe our channel for more videos. Thank you, Elsa, for this video.
Thank you so much.